welcome back. We have Hereafter Part 2, or as it should be titled, Why Superman is Even More Awesome Than You Think. So this is, as the first half was really the league's reaction and the world's reaction to the loss of Superman. This is Superman's journey back. This one really sells the lack of a need for Lobo in this story. He's really just there to pad it out. He doesn't need to be there at all, and it'd be a much stronger story without him. At least in my opinion, which is why you're tuning in. So we're going with that. No need for Lobo. Lobo actually weakens the story. Should have got the axe. Even though I do enjoy Lobo and I do enjoy his portrayal in the cartoon, he doesn't fit. He shouldn't be in this. So, what I thought was going to be another dimension or another realm, they went with time travel. So they're kind of doing at World's End kind of story. Except in case, as many have watched the Linkara video, this Superman at Earth's End doesn't suck horribly. This is so the sun is red, which the natural progression of our sun is eventually it will turn into a red giant, I believe. Yeah, it will turn into a red giant. Some believe it will. There is some finagle because I'm pretty sure, supposedly, it's been a while since I've taken the science, so forgive me for being fuzzy on this. But when the sun goes red giant, the Earth is screwed. And humanity is going to be pretty much, if not the planet, dead. The saving grace of this is they say that there was some, well, I'll get to who did it, but which villain managed to do it, but he created a machine that controlled gravity, and then that affected the whole solar system. So it makes sense, if it could survive the cataclysm and everything, of shifting around. Apparently, that's part of what caused the apocalypse at the end and destroyed the world. Is that now possibly the Earth is far enough away to survive the sun becoming a red giant. So Superman's under a red sun, he loses his power. Now, a lot of them, it has something to do, because Superman is a solar battery and has to do with an expenditure of energy. Thus, whenever he uses his abilities, or just general, he's running battery. He's using the juice all the time. And usually they have him run out of, his superpowers under a red sun relatively fast for sake of plot convenience or runtime. But here he seems to hold on to his super strength a lot longer. Like when he forges the sword. Now, if he has his super strength, you could go, okay, maybe he could do... Because he forges a pretty much flawless blade out of just a chunk of metal. I think it was a tire iron or tie rod, or this is a tire iron or something like that, or a crowbar or some such crap. Now, if he's super strong, we can get past it. He's using road torches, and that's heat enough. He can go, okay, he could probably do that. His strength would be the last thing to leave him. Stuff like heat vision and stuff. The bigger draws on his powers would go first. But I think it would have been more awesome, and it probably would have been harder to animate if he would have because he forges a perfect blade. It would have been in like a night. I think it would have been more interesting if he fudged and more like he forged and more fitting and more showing his peril if he forged an ugly blade. I mean, something that works, but it's gnarly. Uh, so he's out because he picks up this beacon for the Justice League. So he's going to go find out what the hell it is. He's doing logs, trying to go day by day. Like, here's my position. I'm trying to get to you. Uh, and when he starts out, I just have to point this out. He starts out, and when he starts out, he siphons a bunch of gas from the cars that got transported at the same time. And of all the cars he picks the classic car, which somehow is so fitting for Superman. The Americana type car. Well, the 50s with the fins, and you couldn't get more, mom and apple pie American than that design. And that's what makes it's a convertible, so he's got the wind in his hair. That's what makes it fit so well for Superman. So they do play with time, because like I said, he should be losing his strength. Usually he loses it faster. But he grows this like big ass manly beard. Before he seems to have lost his strength the whole way, which even the the shaggiest dudes, growing a beard takes a while. At least probably to grow something decent, and your hair out long like that. I mean, especially the hair growth that long. I mean, maybe something with Kryptonian, being a Kryptonian makes it grow faster, but that should take some time, like months. Well, not the beard. The beard you probably do in a month, and then it would just get shaggier and shaggier. But the hair growing out like that and the whole that should take what 2 to 3, I would think. But he seems to have enough strength in the interim. He really seems to get down to mortal level as the story progresses, which I like. He makes it to the beacon, finds out it's the watchtower, and we're like, oh no, are they gonna? I'm like, oh no, they're gonna. The other heroes got transported, and now I got to figure this out or something. Nope, it just naturally fell out of orbit, which is kind of weird considering you think it would have been during the gravity cataclysm. It would have been knocked out of orbit, or but you're not there to figure out how it works. So, and I'll give it a pass. But who should arrive there but Vandal Savage? Being immortal, it makes sense. And this show really loves Vandal Savage. I mean, he keeps showing up. And they really like to play with the fact that he's all in all these time periods, and they go for it. And I'm not a big Vandal Savage guy, but I like how they use him in this show. Especially this portrayal, because he's been pretty much alone forever. Pretty much, he's been thousands of years with no one. He killed the Justice League. He destroyed the world, and now he has nothing to do, and he's kind of lost his damn mind. And and he he's still creating, he's still archiving, he has to do something. But you can tell he's not balanced anymore. I mean, he's a supervillain for God's sake, so he never was balanced. But he's lost touch, any touch of contact with reality. He's just kind of lost it. So Superman's kind of like, oh well, I guess I have to be with this dude now. Figure out what's going on. He's walking around, finds out Savage has a time machine. Problem, but Vandal Savage lost interest in it. It's a version of what they used, send him back to World War II. There's a bit of plot where you can't go back to any point at which you already existed, which is screwy, because if it's the same style time platform as they used in the end of season 1, then Vandal Savage actually... Wait a minute, that actually does work, because he doesn't send anything, he sends technology. Although that matter should exist at the same time, but in the same... Okay, it sort of works. I'm piecing it together. It sort of works and still follows. But Vandal can't go back because he already exists in that time. But Superman, being dead or transported to the future, can travel back to that point. But they need to get this 0-point energy. Now, 0-point energy is bullshit, but he says that's the only thing that's got enough juice to power this. Okay, fine, dandy. Except that some giant cockroach monsters stole it. And he's working on a new one, but it takes forever to build it. And Superman would have to wait 50 years. So they go into this den of crazy monster insect things, which they're not full-on insects. They've obviously evolved. Well, obviously with size, giant insects are scientifically impossible. But considering they have regular eyes, like, they don't have the compound eye anymore, and other things, I'm going to assume that there is possibly some, reason that these insects can exist at this size. Like I said, this show is... All you gotta do is give me some reason to grasp, and give me a reason for my suspension of disbelief. And this one seems to be doing that. As the show starts to do that more and more, I can forgive stuff like this. I can go, oh well, of course. If they have eyes and they're obviously an involved insect, maybe they have a different type of plating or something, maybe even some limited internal skeletal structure. Because I think way too hard about this stuff. And so Superman falls into this pit, which is glowing yellow. Now, you can see it going a mile off, but it's still awesome to see that the radiation emitted by this generator is Superman can absorb, so he's Superman again instead of Clark Kent the badass. Which this whole thing and part of the point is to show that Clark Kent, the adopted son of Earth, even without the superpowers and all this stuff, is awesome. And you watch this one, you go, yeah, Superman, powers or not, is a badass. So he gets back. They have to go do some stuff on the way. Lobo gets told to fuck off. I thought they were going to do something with that character, but it's pretty much just to tell him to... They have him in part 1 to tell him to fuck off in part 2, so I really don't know why he's there. And that's it. See you in the next.